What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Sorcerers. Now, I'm sure that you're excited to see our joyful faces because for the last 2 weeks, we've kind of been grieving a little bit after that rough ND loss, bro. It was a pretty tough first half. You kind of predicted Ohio State minus 20 and a half in our last episode, and that certainly seemed like it was the case. It seemed as though it was coming to fruition in that first half of the game. Marcus Freeman galvanizes the team, gets them back in the game, but unfortunately, they just can't take it home. Still a great game, ultimately, and was really happy that ND made it there. But yeah, very tough to see our team go home like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a successful season. I'm very proud of these guys
Yeah.
watching them evolve throughout the season. I went to, I think, 8 of their games. So it was really special for me. One of the
Hmm.
most like fun seasons of football I've ever
Yeah.
had. And so seeing them make the national championship was
Hmm.
incredible. I never thought it would come this soon. I thought like maybe in my lifetime, we can get a couple, but I never thought it would happen like this. And yeah, I
Right.
mean, Ohio State was just an unstoppable force. The fact that
Hmm.
they not only scored the touchdown on the opening drive, but they also fought back in the second half was really shocking to me. And they made it a 8 score or an 8 point game there at one point.
Yeah.
Just a questionable defensive call, excuse me, there when they blitzed on the 3rd and 11. Obviously, going for the field goal, I thought was a little bit weird as well.
Yeah.
I
Interesting
mean, it's not
choice
like it
there.
ended up really would have mattered, but I thought that
Hmm.
I guess it was the difference between covering though and not covering for some people. But yeah, no, still a game, good season, all that. Riley Leonard, what a tough guy. I mean, he showed
For
so much
sure.
grit. And
Especially that
yeah,
first drive, man. I mean, that drive will go down in history as one of the greatest opening drives, and he just had that dog in him for that drive, man.
he absolutely did. I really thought, I mean, there were points in the game where I was like, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. Don't do this to me. And they did. They gave me hope and obviously didn't come through, but not
Hmm.
going to complain about it. And I think we're
Yeah,
in a really good spot going forward. Just got to
for
figure out the
sure.
quarterback situation. But I think next year's schedule is very manageable. I don't see why we wouldn't have a home playoff game next year. I'd be pretty disappointed if we don't.
Yeah, no, I would definitely like to see that as well. And it's just interesting, Brian Kelly left ND saying that he didn't think we were a team that could ever get to a national championship. And here we are. Marcus Freeman's been with the program less than 5 years and takes us to
hmm
one. So doesn't seem like uh, the team that doesn't seem like Notre Dame was the problem, but rather the coach was the problem. That's the reason that we couldn't get to the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a few things. Like Marcus Freeman ended up being a better coach than we all thought. He's a really
Yeah,
good recruiter. And the landscape of college football changed with NIL, allowing
yeah.
Northern teams, Big Ten teams, teams where the talent isn't born necessarily. Like the South is just a breeding ground for it. And in years past, they were just able to stockpile talent. But now, with everyone able to pay their players like legally, like before the South was paying their players
Hmm.
under the table, now everyone can pay their players. Northern schools generally have more money, like Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, all those schools will have more money than Alabama, LSU, Georgia. I mean, Brian Kelly had to give up $1 million of his salary to allocate toward basically NIL and acquiring talent and all that
Right.
stuff. So the landscape of college football changed. Marcus Freeman over delivered, and that's what ended up happening. So I do think LSU, Brian Kelly, I think that could still work out just because LSU is such a
Hmm.
powerhouse as we saw several years ago with Joe Burrow and all them. But yeah, no, it's nice. And I remember the day or the day after that Brian Kelly left, I actually was just walking through the campus in Notre Dame to my class, and I got stopped and interviewed about the whole shebang from NDTV. I think
Really?
it's
I
on
don't even
YouTube
remember
somewhere.
this.
Yeah, dude, I remember saying like I thought like they asked like who would be like a good fit. I literally said like Pete Carroll. This was before Pete Carroll even got like fired from Seattle. This was well before he
Wow.
got fired from Seattle. And now obviously he takes the Raiders job and all that. But
Yeah.
no, it's crazy. I remember like people were like texting me because it played in like Duncan Student Center and like that
Hmm.
big
Yeah,
TV like
the
just by
huge
Mod
TV,
Market
yeah.
like on repeat, and people are getting like tired of hearing my
You're getting
voice.
the
Yeah.
airtime, bro.
I know, dude.
No, we all
That
love
was
your
cool. So
voice.
I feel like the whole coaching situation was very resonant with me, and
Yeah.
I definitely remember that whole transition period. But I'm glad how things worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl today.
Yeah, no, that's the topic of the episode. No more college football action, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's the final game of the 2024 season here to wrap up the year of the Sorcerers.
Yeah, I mean, it always flies by, I feel like these seasons. But yeah, I mean, this one, paying attention a little bit more to college this year definitely has
Yeah.
made this one just seem a little quicker. And yeah, I mean, here we are. I mean, life is cyclical. The Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are back in the Super Bowl as they, are just a little less frequently than the Chiefs. And if this was any other game, maybe if this was just a regular season game not as meaningful, I would probably take the Eagles. I think they have a better roster. But I mean, the Chiefs, here they are. They've been outgained by the Texans and the Bills. Neither team even turned the football over, but the Chiefs have won both, even with a turnover against the Bills. It's just the wizardry. Is it refs? Is it black magic? Is it just phenomenal situational coaching in football? I think it's a little bit of everything. So, who am I to bet against the Chiefs? I'm absolutely not going to do it here. I have a $20 bet on the Chiefs. I determined that is the maximum money I am willing to bet on the Chiefs and a state of mind where I do think the Eagles have a better roster and a really good shot to win this game. And if I lose that bet, I think I would totally be happy with it. And yeah, $20 is the most though. I mean, if it was
Yeah.
21, I'd be like, you know what? The Eagles have too good of a chance to win for me to, risk that. But I would be totally happy losing $20 and the Chiefs not repeating.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's really hard to pick against them. I mean, they just have everything going for them with all of these ref calls and I read like some sort of article that said about how the Chiefs been have received less penalties than their opponents in like 10 of their 11 playoff games or something like that. Can't remember the exact number, but that they've won like all 10 of those games where their opponent had more penalties than they did. And it just kind of demonstrates the influence that these refs have. And granted, like I get it, like some teams may legitimately be getting penalized more organically, but also you're getting these calls that just don't deserve to be happening. The roughing the passers, um, just a whole array of calls that the Chiefs just get in their favor. And I just really feel that it sways the outcome of the games. So for whatever reason, it seems like the NFL wants the Chiefs to three-peat. So that's just the pick that I'm gonna have to go with here.
No, yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Agree with everything you said. And I mean, I remember last year we were talking about, is Travis Kelce going to propose to Taylor Swift? And again, like I said, life is cyclical. Here we are
Yeah.
thinking that exact same thing. Maybe though this time it's a little bit more substantive. Maybe there's more credibility to that claim. Maybe there's
Yeah, I
more
mean, three
credibility to the
straight.
fact that, he'll retire after this game as well. There's a whole bunch of
Mhm.
prop bets. I don't know how deep you want to dive into that. I just have a couple in mind, and they are highly hedging. I'm going to take Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts separately as first touchdown scorers at plus 430 and plus 600 respectively. I think that one of them will score the first touchdown. It just depends on if they end up at like the 1 yard line
Mhm.
or if they're kind of within, if Saquon rips off like a 10, like anywhere between like a 5 to 10 yarder. But I think if they get on that 1 yard line, we all know it's going to be the tush push. So I think it's a good idea to bet both of those separately. And they are the two best in terms of the odds, which makes
Mhm.
sense. I just obviously, if the Chiefs go down and score first, then that kind of screws it all. But I feel like that's where I'm going to begin and end my prop bets. I'm going to take Kansas City on the money line at minus 120.
I like those picks. You said it's to hedge. Like, do you just mean like hedge the Chiefs winning?
No, it's like if Jalen gets it, great.
Oh,
I
you're
win
betting both
that.
of
If
them.
Saquon
Okay,
gets it, and betting, since it's plus 430 and plus 600, I'll be profitable either way.
I got it. Okay. Yeah, no, I like the picks for sure. certainly seems in the realm of possibility for the Eagles to be hungry and march down the field, score a tud, start off the game here. I'm also going to rip a Saquon touchdown, but I'm just going to do an anytime tud here. Uh, and I'm going to sprinkle 5 units on it. Like I would feel very comfortable like dropping like an absolute like a full rack on Saquon to score one tud. Like you can't possibly tell me that he's not going to get at least one,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, minus 190 is not all that bad. And, you're making it well worth it by tossing 5 units on there.
Yeah, no, 5 units would pay out like 260. So yeah, that's definitely worth it. And yeah, if you want to up to 10 units, you're getting over 5 bills back. So definitely worth it.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I would be very surprised if Saquon doesn't get a touchdown in this game. I would be
Yeah.
surprised if Jalen Hurts also doesn't get a touchdown. I would feel like those are the only
Yeah.
two that would be in like minus money. I
Right.
don't know. I haven't dived that deep into the odds. I mean, FanDuel is just about, an odd for, how many gray hairs will Nick Sirianni have in his beard. I mean, it's just absolutely insane when it comes Super Bowl time. Yeah, it actually is. Saquon and Jalen are the only two in minus
And
money.
minus,
Everyone
yeah.
else is in plus money. I feel
Yeah,
like
and
Kareem
even all the
Hunt.
Chiefs players, man.
Yeah, plus 145. There's got to be some good value on some of those Chiefs players. I feel like even Mahomes at plus 400. I mean, he had two rushing touchdowns in the game against the Bills. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's a bad bet either.
Yeah, I think D Hop at plus 650 is not bad value to be honest.
Yeah. Or Hollywood Brown. He's probably even lower on the list here. Oh, no, he's 270. 270. Kind of like Dallas Goddard. I feel like Devontae Smith on the yards. I would probably take the over on whatever his receiving yards are. Let's see. Receiving props. So
49 and a
hard to
half.
find when
Devontae
there's
is
just so
49 and a
much.
half.
What's that?
Devontae is 49 and a half.
Oh, I would smash the over on that.
He's putting
I
up
like that a
80,
lot.
80 plus.
I'd probably I'd probably land in the 70, but yeah, I mean I don't mind 80. He's performed well, and I think AJ Brown will take a lot of the lion's share of the Chiefs' attention. By I saying he performed well against the Chiefs in the
Hmm.
past, I believe in the Super Bowl and then in the following matchup in the regular season, in which the Eagles won, he performed pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if you rip Devontae 70 plus, that's plus 225 odds. So you're definitely getting some value out of that.
Yeah. It's tempting me to put these into the pod, but I'm just gonna stick to my words, just gonna stick
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the first touchdown scorer, but it's tough to resist when there's just so many options ahead of you.
No, I know it's crazy that it's just like one single game and there's probably like 5 times the number of lines, if not more, uh for this game than there were for every other regular season NFL game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is the Super Bowl after all. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't It's one of those games. I remember a couple years ago, I was very unbiased, like very indifferent of who would win. But at this
Hmm.
point, with the Chiefs winning so many in a row, I definitely would like to see the Eagles win. But the Eagles are not like an underdog by any stretch of the
Yeah.
imagination. I know betting wise they are, but they have been to
Hardly.
the Super Bowl multiple times. They have been
Yeah.
very successful. There was like one year, I think it was 2020. It was the like Carson Wentz departure. Jalen Hurts came in for a few games. They were pretty bad. And then they started
Hmm.
Nate Sudfeld at the last game of the season. But after that, I mean, they made the playoffs. And then the next year they made the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl. Then the next year they made the playoffs and lost to the Bucks. And then here we are. But yeah, so I'm
Yeah, I mean,
excited for it.
plenty of talent on the roster, just super hard to bet against the Chiefs with all
Yeah,
the
I mean,
calls
I
they
do
seem to
think
get
they're a
from
more
refs.
talented roster. I would take
Yeah.
Saquon. I think Saquon, accounts for a lot. Like I would take him, obviously, as running back one between both teams. I think Dallas
Yeah.
Goedert's, almost as good as Travis Kelce. I think Jalen Hurts is really solid as well. I think they have far better receivers. I think Devontae Smith is better, than any of the Chiefs receivers, and obviously AJ
Hmm.
Brown would be as well. I think they have, some better
Yeah.
defensive players in the secondary. So.
I can agree with that, although I don't think Dallas Goedert is, anywhere close to Kelsey's level.
You don't think so?
Kelsey and Mahomes just have that connection, bro.
I
Jalen does
just
not have that with Goddard.
I mean, Dallas has put up some big boy numbers, and he's a little bit younger. That's why I feel like
Yeah.
I honestly Dallas Goedert could be sneaky in this game.
I mean, it's possible that he's a bit sneaky, but
I think
he's
they
not at the
interviewed him
same
and he
level as
didn't even
Kelsey.
know like who Taylor Swift's songs were. Like he didn't know what kind of songs she was putting out. And so like I mean he's dialed in.
He's locked.
Yeah, he's not feeling any tight end versus tight end competition. He's
Yeah.
focused on the game here. Travis Kelsey's got a lot rolling in his brain. He's got a lot going on up there. Like, what ring do I get? Like,
Yeah.
should I do it on like the
How
20
many
yard line?
carrots?
Am I gonna do it at the 50-yard line? Like,
It
where's
would
the
have to be
honeymoon gonna
midfield.
be?
Come
It's
on now,
gotta be midfield.
midfield.
I mean, I don't,
The
these
20
are the
yard line's
things that he's
crazy.
got to think about. These are the things he's got to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
he's
mean, we
not
thought
studying
for
the
sure
defense.
it was going to be last year, though. Who's to
Last year
say it
is
will
too
for sure
soon,
be
though.
this?
They had only been dating for maybe at best like a year, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So is
Now
it
it's a
still
lot
going to
more
be?
believable.
Do you think he's going to say two things at once again? That's what you said last year. Like, the vaccine commercial, the three-peat now, and you've got like the proposal. Is that going to happen?
I honestly don't think he's gonna propose now. I really
Okay.
don't, but it would be funny. It's too on the nose. I think it's just too
Yeah.
much what everyone's thinking, and I just don't think they want themselves to be that public. I mean, who would want their relationship to be that public?
I mean,
Unless
at
it's
this point, it's already
rigged.
too late.
I mean, unless it's just designed to be that way. I don't know. And this is a conversation we had last year when it was a
Yeah.
lot more prominent, a lot more
Yeah.
fresh.
No, that's true. That's true.
I'm definitely more of a Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld fan.
Yeah, they're now officially engaged. I
Yeah,
feel like they haven't been dating for that much longer than Travis and Taylor, right?
it's possible. Yeah, but they've kept things a lot more private though. So I mean, I
Yeah, no,
really,
no.
really don't
They have
know.
to.
I've heard some like reports that some Hollywood executives think Josh Allen would make a good actor.
Really?
Yeah, what if he just bails on the Bills? He's like, you know what? I'm tired of getting my ass clapped by
By
Patrick
Mahomes?
Mahomes in the playoffs every year when I play well. Why don't I just go like star in an action movie and like make a ton of money that way too? I don't know. I mean, getting onto the football, I feel like I feel so bad for Josh Allen because he has played very well in all these games against the Chiefs and really
Yeah.
all the playoffs as a whole. Like I can't remember the time where like he's had a bad game in the playoffs. Like Patrick Mahomes has
Hmm.
had some rough playoff games. He's thrown multiple interceptions in some of these games to like I know those 49ers Super Bowls he had to pick in at least, one pick in those games. He
Right.
threw interceptions to the Bucks in that Super Bowl and obviously didn't have a good game there. So Josh Allen, I mean, he has performed great and not turned the ball over and just hasn't been able to come through. And although I thought they got the first down in that game at that point
It was
on
a
the third down
crazy
play, and
call.
I thought they got it on the fourth down play, I really would have liked to have seen him come through when he had the opportunity there late, in that 4th and 5. And now I think Dalton Kincaid dropped that pass. I didn't get to see much of this game. I was fast asleep in Spain, unfortunately. I did watch pretty much all the Commanders Eagles game, but the other game, I knew like if I because it was we went to bed like midnight and it was starting like in half an hour, and if
Yeah.
we left the TV on, there was no way I was going to sleep because I would be
Right.
so captivated and gripped by the game. So the TV had to go off, just go to bed, hope, pray, and wake up the next day and see what happened. I remember the first thing I checked was that score, and I banged my head against the wall. I was like, no way did they just lose by 3 points again. And the first thing I actually saw when I opened up the CBS Sports Page app is like the image of like a news article, and it was just Patrick Mahomes like absolutely screaming. So like
Yeah.
screaming of joy. So I was like, all right, I already know what
Hmm.
happened. And then I looked at the score, and then of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way that it goes every time those two face each other in a game. But yeah, I mean, you called it with the whole third, fourth down. I mean, he got past the line, bro.
Oh
If you were
yeah.
watching the game, like, or you probably saw it in the highlights or whatever, like the one line judge runs out and he is
Yep.
past the first down marker, and then the other one runs out and he's short of the first down marker, and they go with the one that's short. Like
It's
it
so
was
bad,
just an
dude. It's
egregious
so
call.
bad. I watched the whole video analyzing it deeply. And yeah, I mean, I think that Dalton Kincaid got the first down on the third down play. I
Yeah.
just, and again, I didn't watch the whole game. Like, did the Bills not have a challenge? Like, did they already
Oh,
use the challenge?
I can't quite remember.
Like, I would have, I don't know. I would have challenged one of those plays for sure. I don't know how
Yeah.
you don't challenge one of those plays unless you don't have a challenge left.
Maybe they were so worried about the timeouts, like they just needed to salvage the timeouts. And if it's like third and inches or fourth and inches, they're just like, well, we can just go for it and have Josh just, jump everyone and he'll pick it up
Yeah, I
because
know,
the
but
timeout's so valuable to them.
if that fourth down play was so obvious, right? And I feel
Yeah,
like it would have gotten overturned. I don't
that's
know. I
true.
feel like they had to have not had that timeout. I'd have to look back in the
The
game, but I
challenge,
haven't
yeah.
heard anyone talking about that. So that element
Yeah.
of it,
Hmm.
a lot of people talking about coaching issues with Sean McDermott and how he might be in trouble if this were to continue.
What do you mean?
I mean, you can't continue to lose to the Chiefs this way. Now, I know he's an
Is it his
underdog in
fault,
some of these
bro?
games. I mean, I think that it's not Josh Allen's fault. It's not James Cook's fault. I think
Then why is it
it
the
has to go
coach's
on the head
fault?
coach.
Why?
I mean, we've been in this situation time and time again. Josh Allen has played great. He hasn't turned the ball over, and they've still lost. I mean, a lot of that is coaching.
I don't know that they can attribute that to coaching. I just attribute it to the refs, bro. Like refs make two calls differently in that game and Bills win.
I mean, it could, but I do think that why do you leave up to that? I mean, I think there are opportunities for the Bills to pull away. I mean, they didn't start off well. How do the Bills come out looking like that in their first drive? They went like three and out. It was ugly. I think that's coaching. They came out and they didn't prepare well enough, I don't think. I mean, that first drive, like it's always scripted and they couldn't get one first down. So I thought that was pretty poor. And that's not a ref issue.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. They were just they weren't locked in yet. They had to get locked, but I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I feels like there's more to the puzzle than just the head coach situation for me. I mean,
No,
there
I
could
know.
be
I
any
just think
number of other
eventually like
factors.
they're going to get tired of it and they're going to have to point their finger at someone. Someone's going to have to take the blame. But you know
I
what
mean, I
could
just
silence it is if they trade for Myles Garrett from the
mhm,
Browns. I think that would be a
yeah.
huge step. But I mean, the thing is, like, you're just kind of wasting like Josh Allen's prime here. Like, he's given you
Hmm.
phenomenal years, year in and year out. He's giving you good performances in the playoffs, and you just can't get past the big bad Chiefs here. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they have not lost to anyone else in the playoffs besides Chiefs and the
Bengals.
Bengals that one time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but I mean, I just have a hard time justifying firing a coach that takes you to the AFC
I
Championship
know.
every year and then you lose to,
No,
in
I
that
get it. I
game. But
mean,
like,
it reminds me of how everyone was calling for Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day's job when he lost to
yeah,
Michigan fourth year in a row. It's like you can't keep losing to your rival. And,
yeah,
in that situation, he gets bailed out by the 12-team playoff and was able to go on and win the national championship and save his job.
hmm,
But that's not how it works in this situation. And that's also, I think, why they win that regular season game, you're just doomed to lose in the postseason then because you can't beat the team twice. I hang my
yeah,
hat on that so much. It's hard to beat a
you
team
do.
twice. Are you really going to beat the Chiefs twice in the same season? But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
some
no, I mean, there's a
buffoonery.
lot to it. It's an interesting topic to analyze. I do feel like I was a little bit more upset with the refs when I looked at the game superficially and then I dug in a little bit more. I feel like the Bills had some opportunities there that they squandered away.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really tough to swallow, and especially when they turn the ball over, you outgain them. You've been in this spot before. You have to want it badly, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
So
every year, bro, we just see the same glumpy face of Josh sitting on the sidelines, just
this one looked the most
pooped.
grumpy ever. This one looked rough. I was like, ooh.
It's, I know, it just
I
gets
mean,
worse every
you're
year,
still
bro.
going home to Haley, right? Like it can't be that bad, but it looked
I
that
mean,
bad.
no, I mean, hopefully, he got compensated in some way for his rough evening. But
I
yeah,
don't
in any
know, dude. I
case,
mean, I feel like Noah Gray like subbed in for Josh and like Haley wasn't about it.
oh
Haley was
my,
like, I know Noah Gray is like
That's too much.
What about me?
I love that.
But I mean, that's yeah. Here we are again, Chiefs in the Super Bowl. If Joe Burrow was, had a defense, maybe we would have different conversations. But here we are yet again, and I'm still gonna watch it though. I'm still excited for
Yeah,
it.
no, you have to. You have to. It's like the most watched thing in
Yeah,
the year.
I really would enjoy seeing the Chiefs lose. I like Saquon Barkley a lot. I realize he's a really, really good guy.
Really,
Yeah,
what made you feel that way?
he's really good on the camera, and I think that one touchdown that he could have ripped off against the Packers, but he slid
Hmm.
down. I mean, that just shows such a selfless
Some
like team
modesty. Yeah,
player. I mean, I really
that's
appreciated
good.
that. There was times where I was like, dude, yeah, I mean, I feel like he disrespected New York a little bit when he was
Hmm.
there, but man, I think he's a real team player and he's great conversationally. I don't think Jalen Hurts is as good. Jalen Hurts is just so kind of monotone and just,
Arrogant a
I
little bit.
mean, yeah, I mean, he's really dialed in. He's super stoical, but and I think their head coach is a little bit of a goof.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch Media Day, so I'm not sure if that's what is that
Yeah,
what
it
you're
was it
referring
was
to?
from that a little bit, but I just saw some
Okay.
clips and I was like, yeah, I mean Saquon, like he knows what's up. Like he is a
Yeah,
complete package.
he is. Yeah. I mean, he's the X factor for the team. He's got to be,
Yeah,
that kind of guy.
for sure, for sure. So that's all I have. I mean, do we have picks from fan mail here? Just
No,
one pick?
no, no more fan mail.
Damn.
Yeah.
We are our own fans and we are providing the mail.
We're giving the picks.
But after this, it's almost March Madness time, so we'll have a little fun with that and be on our way to the draft.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, in that case, we will see you next week to recap all this. Enjoy the big game. Go Birds, as they say. Go Birds.
Love that.